Hey there, this is just a quick overview for our Week 2 Part 2 assignment. Don't see my face here because I think it's more important to show the task at hand for this. So, Week 2 Part 2, every week for the Part 2 assignments are going to be the grammar and writing task. That's just how we're going to set it up. So Part 1 will be reading and vocab. Part 2 will be the grammar and writing task. The only thing that will be graded is going to be at the very bottom of the page here. So if I scroll all the way down here, it's this assignment right here. If it doesn't work, just click this link right there. But I have it broken up into 3 pages. So here's the multiple choice. Make sure you click next. There are 3 pages total, and the third one is a written response. Let's go ahead and scroll all the way back up. While we're typing, I think it's going to be important that any time in any of your classes that you actually, instead of just using the text box response, you actually open up a whole new window and type your document in Google Docs. I've been messing with Canvas for a little bit, and it's happened more than once that I am about halfway done with building something and the website crashes and I lose all that material. So I like to have Google Docs open, and that way if my internet goes out or something goes awry, I'm able to have it already saved. When I have a Google Doc, I have my last name, first name, and then I put the assignment just to make it a little bit easier for me, because if we need to go back at the materials, which we will be next week, it's already saved in there. Another thing to make sure that you have is Grammarly. It's always good to have that in your Chrome browser. I have the link right here. It just helps out with grammatical errors and spelling when you're typing. And the great thing about Grammarly is that it works in many other applications online besides just Google Docs. And if you want actual, hard copies of the information, I have the link at the bottom of the page if you want it. So the first thing that we have is a slideshow, and this is just going over the grammatical terms. We're looking at verb tense and active versus passive voice. That's part 1. I would always take notes. Same thing here. I just give you 2 ideas to lay out your paragraphs when you're building a response. I have pages as well, but I use the Texas format and then the Cheese Write format. Look at that, take notes there, see which one works the best. And then finally, I have the MLA basics video, and this just gives a refresher course on how do we cite properly in MLA. I would always look at this because if you look at the rubrics, at the very least, 1/8 of your grade comes from proper citation. And I'll also have videos of me discussing these slideshows as well if you want it. But the part 2 response, I just want you to give me a response that discusses how character is built, like compare and contrast how setting can help develop a literary character, and also go into the reflection on how does setting affect your own character or yourself. So part 1, choose a character in each of the stories. So I want you to choose 2 characters at least, and just think about how does a setting build who they are in the story and how it doesn't, and compare and contrast the 2 in each situation. You could either go how, like, this is how setting develops one character and this is how setting develops another, or you can compare both characters and how setting influences and doesn't influence them. And then the part 2 of your essay response, I want you to just build a reflection on how does setting build who you are, and evaluate the significance that setting or setting factors has built an influence on who you are today. Requirements, I say a full response. So I want you to try to write this in about 40 minutes because most of you are going to want to do AP Lit and there are going to be timed writes. So a full response means that you need to have, an introduction, some body paragraphs, and a conclusion. But I want you to really just focus on the 40 minutes. So at the very least, you should have 3 paragraphs. At the most, I think you could try for 5. But really, what I want you to do is just look at the 40-minute factor. That's going to be the most important thing to think about. Don't push it. I don't want you to spend, 3-4 hours on this paper, a response even. I just want to see, are you able to put your ideas and have a good form within that, 40-minute window? I'm not going to time you, but I would time yourself and don't go over that amount. It might be a little bit stressful at first, but it's a good practice to know where we're at. And then here's a rubric that we're looking at. If you noticed from last year, I've omitted spelling and punctuation because given it's a timed, it's not a timed response, but I want you to, try to time yourselves in 40 minutes. I want you to look at, the ideas and your structure more than spelling and grammar. We're going to look at grammar, spelling, and punctuation and revision next week. So the main thing that I'm going to grade you on are on these 5 factors right there. Again, like I said, here's the test itself. When you get to the third page, that's where you write your response. Like I said before, I would encourage you to have a Google Doc open and then copy and paste it into that response. Just make sure that you have, some wiggle room. And then I have worksheet, handouts for the paragraph and MLA resources. That's about it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Have a good day.